Welcome back to my channel, guys. This is 3 yards and this is the fabric we're going to be using to make this pinafore and a lining to match with it. So I'll go ahead by folding this fabric into a smaller portion because we're not using a bust size for it. So what we need basically is the shoulder. So I'll just fold it into two and then I try to measure it, and then I have 10 inches. So this is the 10 inches we're going to be working with. So I'll confirm the measurement downwards and then I'll go ahead to cut it. After cutting, this is what we have. So first of all, I'm just going to begin by cutting the first part of it, which is maybe the front part of it. There's actually no difference between the front and the back part of it. So I went ahead and I'm taking the length of this half cut. Right now I am using 16 inches for the half cut across the both of the lines of the measurements. So next I'm going to take the shoulder measurement for this cut. I am using 8 inches. So the next thing, I'm going to take my neck width. I'm using 5 inch for the neck width. And then the neck depth, I'm going to be using 3.5 for the neck depth. So I'm going to link the depth of the neck and the width of the neck together this way. And then on the shoulder line, I'm going to come down by 1 inch to take my shoulder slope or the shoulder slant. Then I'll connect it with the neck as well. So on the shoulder line again, I'm going to take out 1 inch from the shoulder line. So the initial shoulder that we measured was 8 inches. So now we are taking out 1 inch from the 8 inches. We're left with 7 inches at this point. So I'll come down to the base of this and I'm going to mark 6 inches, which means I still subtracted 1 inch from the 7 inches on the shoulder line, and then we marked out 6 inches there. So that when you fold 6 inches, you're going to have 12 inches. Then I'll connect the shoulder to the base of this measurement this way. So I'll just go ahead and cut them out. So as you can see, the first piece of our dress is ready. So I'm just going to lay the front part on the folded part of this fabric again to cut the second piece of what we need. So I'm just going to pin it down just to hold them in place for me. I'm just going to cut them out. Now I have two pieces, the front and the back piece. So when you open it, this is what it looks like. So this is what the two pieces I have look like, just opening one of them. So I'll set that aside and I'll just go ahead to cut the other side, which is the second half of this pinafore. This is the gathered side of it. So I just folded this fabric into 4 so that I will not have a wide fabric to cut out from. So folded into 4, I went ahead and I marked my measurements, the length of second side. Then the length I'm using, I marked it out and marked out the second part of it so that I can connect it to have a straight cut. So I'll just go ahead and cut them out. And then I would separate them into 2. I'll cut it into 2. One will serve as the front and the other as the back. So I went ahead to make a waistband for it as well. I marked out 2.5 inches, or I folded out 2.5 inches. So I'm going to be cutting on this 2.5 inches, which is going to be the waistband that will connect the gathers from the upper side of this pinafore. So then I'll just go ahead and cut it out. So I'll just measure the waist of what I'm going to be working with and then I cut it out. So this is the overall waist that I'm going to be working with. So I'll just fold it into two. Because of the pocket, if there was no pocket, I'll just go ahead and use it like this, but because of the pocket, I'm going to divide it into two and also slash in between them. So watch me as I show you the reason why I'm slashing in between this in the later part of this video. So I went ahead and I cut out lining piece that I'm going to be using for the upper part of this pinafore, two linings for the two piece each of them. So I'm going to spread one of the piece like this, and I'm going to use a lining to just lace on it. So just watch me as I do that. So I'll just lay my lining on it, and then I'm going to stitch on the neck, stitch down and down. Also for the second part, lay my lining as well, stitch on this neck, stitch downwards, sew downwards. So after doing that, this is what we have. This is the two piece that we have. So I'm going to fold it into two like this and just notch it on the down side of it, just to mark the middle point of it this way. So why are we notching it at the midpoint? Just watch and find out. After that, for the belt part of one of the piece, I'm also going to overlay it on each other and also notch on the middle as well by folding it into two, and then I'll just notch on it. So I'll lay one piece of it good side to good side, and the notched parts will be on each other. I'll lay the first piece on it like this, and also I'll trace the midpoints of the other one, and then I'll also place it on it this way. Then I'll pin it down just to hold it in place for me. So I'm going to be stitching on this point. Once I'm done with the second one as well, I would lay it shoulder to shoulder like this. One shoulder on one and the other shoulder on the other. Then I'll stitch on the shoulder, stitch on the second shoulder. Once I'm done with that, this is what it looks like. I'd already joined the shoulders, I'd joined the band. So this is what it looks like inwards. You can see how neat it is. So after that, I'm going to head over to the second half of this pinafore, and then I cut a piece of the fabric that I'm going to be using as the pocket. This is 11 inches long and 12 inches wide. So I'm just going to pin it together, good size to good size, remember. Then I'll measure 7 inches downward on one edge of this pocket side. That's 7 inches right there. So I'm going to stitch till 7 inches, and then I'll notch. After stitching, this is what it looks like. So I'll just open it. I'd already ironed it. Then I'll fold it inwards like this. You can see that I use my scissors to cut at the point that I stopped stitching on. Then I'll also fold it outside like this. So you can see that we're already getting our pockets ready. This is how it is. Just trying to adjust it. So once you open it, you see that here is opened, so that wouldn't make a pocket. So we just go ahead and just fold it like this and stitch on this part this way. So if you don't understand me, just watch what I'm doing and replicate it and you will get it. So after stitching it, we already closed the down part of our pocket, so it's no more hollow and empty underneath. So this is what it is right now. I'll still fold it inwards, and we have our pockets, our side pockets. So I'll just mark 1 inch on the pocket, and then I'm just going to top stitch just to hold it in place, and then I'll also stitch downwards this way. So for the second part of the pocket, this is what it looks like. This is what we've been describing, and this is the result for the second part. I'd already stitched down, top stitched on it and all. So the next thing to do is to head over to the sewing machine and run a gather stitch, leaving the pocket out of it. So I'll run a gather stitch from the beginning to the end for both the back and the front together. Then on the second line again, I'll run 2 gather stitch on the second line. I'm going to be taking out 2 thread from the right side of this fabric, of the part I'm going to be using for the gather, and also on the other side as well. I have to also trace it out and take 2 lines as well. So once you take out 2 threads from a part of the fabric, remember to also do the same for the other parts. So just like taking one part from the good side, and then you head out to the other side, and then you're taking the thread from the wrong side of the fabric, you're not going to get the gathers that you want. Once your gather is achieved, you want to bring the first part of this pinafore, and then you want to just attach your gathered onto it this way. So at this point you're going to be stitching it alongside with your pockets. So you just lay it on it and then adjust all of the stitches, adjust all of the gathered until they fit in perfectly with what you are looking for, until they fit in perfectly whatever you are attaching it to. Then you stitch on it all the way. Once you're done with the first part, you do the same for the second part. Just align the first half of your style and then bring in the gathered stitches, the gathered fabric, and then just stitch on it all the way. Adjust it so that it's not one is no longer than the other, and then you stitch on it all the way down this way. Once that is done, this is what it looks like. We have joined the gathered, we are joining it underneath, so this is what it looks like. So if you see, you will discover that we had some gathered thread that is still left, so I'm just going to pull them out so that once the dress is ready, there will be no need to see another thread on the top of the fabric or the style. So I just put them out, and then this is what we are left with. So I'm going to adjust it very well because at this point we are going to be adding our lining to the down part of it. So people make the mistake of just trying to go ahead and just attach the lining this way. This is very wrong. So to do it in the right way and invisibly cover it, you place it at the other side of it this way. This way. And then I'm going to make some pleats on the lining all the way to the end. So once you're done stitching on it, this is what it looks like. The lining is on one side and the fabric is on the other side. So you just stretch it open and there you have it. This is what it is, invisibly covered inside of it. So the next thing is to attach a zipper to it. You remember this is a side zip, so we're going to measure up to 10 inches. It depends on what you want. So for me, I'm just going to measure up to 10 inches at this point, and then I'm going to stitch the remaining parts downwards. So we just close it downwards and this way, and then we attach the zip to the other side of it to this point, and then we'll fold it underneath, which brings us to the end of this tutorial. And then this is the folded part of it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you are yet to subscribe to my channel, turn on your bell icon so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. And also don't forget to give my video a thumbs up. Also check out the link at the top right side of your screen for another video. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.